Welcome to this deep dive. We're taking a really close look today at the pretty complex life journey of Tony Torres.
Yeah, it's all based on that YouTube video, Iron Temple,
Mhm.
which is quite revealing.
It really is.
And what struck me right away was just how candid it is. It shows a life full of, big ambitions, but also those totally unexpected turns life takes.
Uh-huh. And a real solid grounding in his own values.
Exactly. The transcript gives us this incredibly direct view into his experiences, his mindset.
For sure. So we're not just like scratching the surface. We're going deep into everything from his childhood dreams, his businesses.
Do some really heavy legal stuff.
Yeah.
The beliefs that kind of guide him through it all.
Right. Our mission here is basically to pull out those key insights for you about resilience, what success really means, the power of sticking to your guns, essentially.
Concentrated life lessons, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so where do we start with a life this, well, full?
Let's maybe go right back to the beginning, those early influences. What stood out for you from his childhood stuff?
Okay, yeah, two things, really. First, him wanting to be like He-Man as a kid, and how important it was when his mom bought him the toy.
Right, that tells you something about early ideals, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Strength, virtue, and maybe the impact of just, feeling supported by a parent.
Totally. It makes you wonder, like, who were your He-Man figures growing up? The second thing was how he saw his dad as this kind of superhero.
Yes, the admiration there is so clear, recalling how everyone respected his father.
Uh-huh.
And for Tony, the big thing was wanting to earn that same respect, but from his own kids.
Which really highlights the importance of family that need to be a good influence, you know?
Absolutely sets the stage for understanding a lot of his later motivations, especially with his own family.
It really does.
Yeah.
Now, the path from wanting to be He-Man to owning a gym took a pretty wild detour, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. That whole entry into stripping. What did you make of that?
I mean, it's quite a story.
Definitely a key moment.
Yeah.
Chance meeting at the gym, right?
Right.
Leads to an invite to just sort of
Yeah.
help out at a male review.
And then that story. The accidental full nudity thanks to the audience.
Can you imagine? Mortifying, I'd guess, but also pivotal. Talk about an unexpected career launch.
Ah, yeah. Seriously. But what's interesting is how he approached it. He didn't just, like, phone it in.
No, not at all. He got really artistic, really dedicated, developed these whole themed acts.
Inspired by movies, yeah. Top Gun, Zorro, even Spider-Man.
Exactly. And here's where you see that, commitment to doing it right. The authenticity.
The details are amazing. Getting actual Zorro gear, figuring out the Velcro pants for the reveal.
Even drawing the Spider-Man logo himself because of trademark stuff.
Right. It shows this meticulous side, even in a job you might not expect it in.
It really does. It kind of challenges you to think, where might you be underestimating potential in unexpected places? Dedication pays off,
And he was doing this while also performing as Spider-Man at kids' parties.
which just speaks volumes about his, I guess, versatility
Mm-hmm.
and that entrepreneurial hustle, seeing different angles.
Totally. It paints a picture of someone spotting chances and just going for it creatively. Definitely busts some stereotypes.
For sure.
Okay, moving on slightly. Let's talk about the motorcycles. Those Harleys. What did they mean to him?
Yeah, definitely more than just getting around. One was this, custom replica of one he saw online, a real labor of love,
Hmm.
and the other, the Jack Daniels Ironhead.
Well, that points to some specific tastes, doesn't it?
What jumped out at me was him pushing back against the whole midlife crisis idea.
Firmly.
He frames them as, goals he finally reached, rewards for years of work and saving up.
Exactly. It's his definition of success, his reward. He worked for it, now he enjoys it. A good reminder that you get to define success on your own terms, right?
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears a bit. Family. Clearly hugely important for Tony.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, even how he met his wife at his own Muscle Maker Grill. Another business venture, by the way.
Right. Another example of that spirit. And then how much weight he puts on, like holiday traditions, family gatherings. Yeah, he keeps calling family the foundation. It's a constant theme.
And you really see his involvement with his kids day to day.
Yeah.
That morning routine he describes, getting them ready, breakfast, the small rituals.
It paints a picture of a very, present dad.
Mm-hmm. And that strong drive to be someone they admire, just like he admired his own father.
Hmm.
It's powerful.
You really feel how much he cares, the sense of responsibility. His kids are clearly, a massive motivator.
It definitely adds a very human layer to it all.
Yeah.
Okay, let's circle back to business. The Spartan Body Challenge. Seems like a natural fit given his passion for fitness.
It does. And it wasn't just, a few workout sheets. It was the whole package, nutrition plans, cookbooks, support.
Super comprehensive.
Yeah.
A real commitment to getting results for his clients.
Yeah.
And the testimonials really back that up, don't they?
Yeah, people talking about serious weight loss, health improvements, even like mental toughness.
And his coaching style sounds really hands-on.
Mm.
Checking logs, even looking at gym cameras sometimes. That's dedication.
Mm-hmm. Plus, doing live workouts online, adapting his coaching, shows he's keeping up with the times.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But then the story takes a really sharp turn, doesn't it, when his friend Jorge comes back into the picture?
Yeah. Let's call it the shadow of Jorge because things get intense.
Very intense. Suddenly, he's under major scrutiny from law enforcement.
Yeah.
FBI, DEA. All because of his link to Jorge.
The scenes at his real estate office, I mean, it sounds like something from a thriller novel. The stakes just shot way up.
Uh-huh. Real danger. And then his decision. His loyalty to Jorge. Refusing to cooperate.
Yeah, that loyalty, based on what his dad taught him about not being a rat.
Which put him in an unbelievably tough spot. Huge personal risk. But he stuck to that principle.
It really shows what's core to him, even when the cost is so high. Then comes the actual arrest. His worry for his nephew in that moment.
And the absolute shocker of his own lawyer turning on him.
I know. Becoming an informant just to save his own skin. That's wow.
It's a stark reminder of how unpredictable people can be under pressure, isn't it?
Totally. And that led to the plea deal situation, facing really serious charges.
Yeah, potentially a decade or more. So he takes a deal for conspiracy, gets 5 years, even though he wasn't, like, the main guy in the crime itself.
It makes you think about the justice system, Plea deals. Basically, it's pleading guilty to something lesser to avoid risking a much worse sentence if you go to trial and lose.
You can almost feel the weight of that choice in how he talks about it. Noticing tiny details before he went in, trying to soak up time with family.
And the hardship for his family while he was gone, but also their incredible support.
That bond seems unbreakable.
That whole experience clearly changed him, made him determined never to go back.
Absolutely. Which makes his comeback story, the story of Iron Temple, even more powerful. His resilience really comes through there.
Definitely. I mean, losing his share in the first gym, that could have flattened someone.
But his first thought was, okay, start again. That refusal to quit is just central to him.
And how he rebuilt. Working at Orange Theory, scraping together money, buying equipment piece by piece off Craigslist.
So resourceful,
Yeah.
strategic, persistent.
Yeah.
And even finding the location for Iron Temple felt a bit, well, like things were finally falling into place for him again. Almost serendipitous.
He had such a clear idea for it, too, didn't he? Like a proper old-school gym, no frills, just results.
Totally reflects his own passion for bodybuilding,
Mm-hmm.
creating that dedicated space. And the members seem to really get it based on the testimonials.
Yeah, it sounds like he built a real community there.
More than just weights and machines. It's about the atmosphere, the shared goal.
Mm.
And he didn't stop pushing, did he? That trip to Orlando.
Right, to meet Blake, to learn about social media strategies, even if they were inspired by the Fire Festival fiasco.
Shows he's always looking to learn, right?
Yeah.
To grow the business, adapt,
Yeah.
getting into the nitty-gritty of online sales funnels.
Yeah, basically figuring out that whole digital path to turn interest into actual sales online. It just shows his commitment to keep improving.
It all feeds back into that theme of constant growth, trying to stay ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So as we kind of pull this all together, let's revisit those core beliefs, that philosophy we've seen running through everything.
Okay, well, first there's that lesson from his dad again. Loyalty. Not being a tattletale. That explains so much about the Jorge situation, even with the consequences.
Mm-hmm. And his point about judgment, that you don't really know how you'll react until you're in that tough spot yourself. Well, it's insightful. Makes you pause.
It does.
Yeah.
And then you hear from his friends, his clients. They consistently describe him as generous, reliable, someone who's actually changed their lives for the better.
Which really stands out, right?
Yeah.
Despite all the difficulties, that positive core seems to shine through.
But maybe the line that sums it all up is, the past does not equal the future.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It just captures his whole belief in being able to change, to overcome mistakes. He even sees the prison time, incredibly, as something that pushed him towards positive changes.
That resilience again, that commitment to making a better future no matter what. What an amazing, complex journey we've traced.
It really is. Key themes jump out, don't they? Resilience, obviously. Pursuing your dreams, even the unconventional ones.
Mm-hmm.
The sheer importance of family and loyalty.
And that constant drive to learn and grow, personally and professionally.
The aha moments for me were those really unexpected turns, like stripping to legal battles and seeing him stick to his values through thick and thin, and then turning all that adversity into, well, into Iron Temple. Success on his terms.
Yeah. And it really makes you, the listener, think about your own definitions, right? Success, resilience. How do you measure those?
Mm-hmm. And maybe Tony's story gives you a different lens to look at your own challenges through.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe?
Mm.
Consider how those tough times, those setbacks you face, could actually be unexpected fuel for your own growth.
Yeah. How they might be shaping you into who you're becoming. What iron temples are you building? Maybe without even realizing it.
That's definitely something I'm all over. And maybe think about people in your own life who've shown that kind of strength or loyalty. What can you learn from their journeys?
Great point. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.